When I pulled into the driveway that evening, the house lights were already on. Emma stood by the mirror in our hallway, wearing a navy blue dress I'd never seen before. It hugged her in a way that made her look effortlessly perfect, and for a moment, I thought about how lucky I used to feel calling her mine. But that feeling didn't stay long. She looked at me through the mirror, her smile polite but distant. "You ready?" I asked, straightening my tie. "Yeah," she said, her tone clipped. "Try not to look too serious tonight, okay? People might think you don't want to be there." I laughed softly, pretending it didn't sting. Lately, it felt like every sentence she spoke had a little thorn hidden inside it. The party was hosted by her boss, Daniel Moore. A man with perfect teeth, a louder laugh than necessary, and the kind of confidence that made other men uncomfortable. He'd always found a way to compliment Emma just enough to make it seem innocent. When we arrived, music spilled from the open doors, laughter filling every corner of the sprawling house. Emma drifted away almost immediately, her hand slipping from mine before I could even say hello to anyone. I watched her cross the room, that magnetic smile lighting up her face as she greeted Daniel. That smile, the one I hadn't seen in months. For the next hour, I tried to blend in. Made small talk with people I barely knew, nodded at jokes I didn't care about, and sipped a drink I didn't even like. But every few minutes, my eyes would find her. The way she leaned in too close when Daniel spoke, how she brushed her hair behind her ear, laughing like he was the funniest man alive. At one point, she caught me watching. Her expression hardened, and she turned away without a word. I decided to step outside for air. The night was cooler than I expected, the city lights reflecting off the pool like scattered stars. That's when I heard her voice behind me. "Why do you always look so miserable, Ryan?" I turned. She stood there, drink in hand, irritation written across her face. "I'm not miserable," I said quietly. "Just tired." "Of what?" she asked, her tone sharp. "Of me? Of being here? God, you make everything awkward." She said it loud enough for a couple nearby to glance our way. I felt heat rise in my face. "I didn't mean." "Of course you didn't," she interrupted. "You never mean anything. You just sulk and make everyone uncomfortable." Her words hit harder than I expected. I nodded, forcing a small smile. "You're right. Maybe I shouldn't have come." "Maybe you shouldn't have," she said, turning back toward the house. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Not with anger, but with clarity. For months I'd been trying to fix something that clearly wasn't broken. It was dead. So, I set my glass down, took one last look at her laughing figure through the window, and walked toward the car. As I reached for the door handle, I glanced back at the house. Emma's laughter stopped. She turned, eyes wide, realizing I was leaving. For the first time that night, her smile vanished. The drive home felt strangely quiet. No music, no thoughts loud enough to hurt. Just the faint hum of the tires and the realization that silence was easier than pretending anymore. I parked outside the house but didn't go in right away. I sat there, staring at the front porch light, the same light I'd fixed last summer when Emma had asked me to. Back then, she'd smiled and kissed my cheek, calling me her handy hero. Felt like another lifetime. When I finally walked inside, the house smelled faintly of her perfume and wine. 2 glasses sat on the counter, lipstick marking one. A half-eaten meal I'd cooked earlier lay cold on the table. The sight of it made something inside me ache. Not because she wasn't home, but because I realized I didn't expect her to be. I went to bed alone that night, for the 100th time, but this time I didn't wait for her footsteps in the hallway. She came home late. I heard her stumble slightly as she took off her heels. The bedroom door opened, and the light from the hall fell across her face, her smile gone, eyes searching. "You left," she said flatly. "I did. Everyone saw you walk out. Daniel asked if you were okay." "I am," I said simply. "For the first time in a while." She frowned, her lips parting like she wanted to argue, but no words came. Instead, she turned away, muttering something under her breath before climbing into bed. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, realizing how far apart 2 people can be while sharing the same mattress. The next morning, I made coffee. She didn't join me. Her phone buzzed constantly on the counter. A string of messages from Daniel that she didn't bother to hide. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. I'd already decided something the night before. Walking out that door wasn't the end of a fight. It was the start of my freedom. For days, we barely spoke. She blamed my mood swings. I stopped correcting her. The silence that once suffocated me now felt like peace. A week later, she brought it up. So, what, are you just going to ignore me forever? I'm not ignoring you, I said calmly. I just stopped chasing someone who keeps running. She rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic, Ryan. It was just a party. I smiled faintly. No, Emma. It was the moment I realized I don't belong in your world anymore. Her expression faltered, like she hadn't expected that kind of answer. That night, I started packing a small bag. No shouting, no threats, no tears. Just quiet closure. I left her the house, the car. Everything she'd said made her happy. The only thing I took was my peace. When she woke the next morning, I was gone. My side of the closet empty. A note on the counter. I didn't leave to hurt you. I left because I finally noticed. You stopped smiling with me a long time ago. I didn't expect a reply, and she didn't send one. Weeks passed. I found a small apartment near the lake, started running again, cooking for myself, sleeping through the night without waiting for silence to end. Sometimes I'd see photos of her online, new dresses, new parties, new faces. But her eyes always looked the same, searching for something that attention couldn't replace. Funny thing is, people think heartbreak is loud. It's not. It's a quiet acceptance. It's the moment you stop fighting for someone who never turned around. One evening, while watching the sunset from my balcony, I got a text from an unknown number. I didn't realize you were really leaving that night. I thought you were just trying to make a point. I stared at it for a while before typing back. No points left to make. I didn't send another message after that. Because sometimes, walking out the door isn't about leaving someone behind. It's about finally stepping back into yourself. And somewhere deep down, I knew. That was the moment she finally understood why her smile vanished when mine did too.